What's up, everyone? Here we are, finally, with our analysis of RWBY Volume 9, Chapter 1. It's been a long time, hasn't it, Diane? I wanted to do a funny little old Family Guy joke, and you didn't go with it. Alright, well, that's a fail. What's up, everyone? It's Cannan.
It's Jessie.
And we are the Geeky Sane Couple. And truth is, yes, it's been a while since we've done this. It's been since the finale of Volume 8 that we've done an analysis video of a RWBY volume. So, might be a little rusty. How many slides did you say we have?
106.
106 pictures to go through.
Some of them are like frame after the other, so they actually go together for what we need to talk about.
I have no idea what parts of the episode I left this up to her, so we'll see how it is. We're doing something different. We're using the slides this time instead of just trying to find it on the video, because, you know, we're being a little careful with it being on Crunchyroll now. But, yeah.
It's easier to do it this way. You catch the moments rather than hunting.
Though it's a bit more work having to actually save the screenshots and all that. But, hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you got a snack. Hope you got something cold to drink. If you enjoy it, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click that like button, leave a comment. We are itching and scratching to get to 1,000 subscribers this year. So, we skipped most of the intro of the episode because we've already seen it. And I think when it was first shown, I didn't go back and look, but I'm pretty sure when it was shown, I believe it was at an RTX or some kind of event. We did do an analysis of the though the one where RWBY meets Little, I don't think we did.
I don't remember, but I did vaguely grab screenshots, at least a few here and there of major points of that beginning, just so we can fully talk about the whole episode with that included. I know we did talk about things that we saw when we met Little the first time, so, I mean,
probably didn't include as much.
I don't think we did, so this will be a little bit different. That's why I said I didn't grab as many from the beginning right here, but I grabbed the important pieces.
Yeah. So, I mean, like we said, we'd already seen it. You know, it was pretty much the ending of Volume 8 from RWBY's perspective. We got to see, from RWBY's perspective, Yang going over and falling. We saw how fast it happened. You know, people were like, well, why didn't RWBY get her? Like, it literally showed how fast it was. RWBY's point of view when Cinder dropped both her and Neo. We saw her about to activate her silver eyes. Then, of course, Neo attacking. RWBY still falling, you know, and all that. But here we are. We're starting with RWBY waking up on the island, or, you know, in Ever After. You know, everyone thought it was just going to take place on this island, which we learned there's way more to do with this place than meets the eye. But someone hollering her name is what wakes her, which it sounds like Yang, I believe. But I'm not 100% sure. So, yeah, I don't think I ever noticed this watching, like I said, I didn't go back and see us when we first saw this, but there's two suns, and I noticed in our reaction, it's
moving like
a clock almost, which it definitely looks like the part...
backwards.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the part of Ever After that we are going to see is based off Wonderland, and Wonderland is there's a lot of clock themes in Wonderland. Also, could this be does time work differently in Ever After? A lot of people think that a day in Ever After might be a year in Remnant. We don't know that, but it's interesting that it's moving like a clock. Like the smaller sun is orbiting the bigger one, and you can actually see it moving.
I don't think it's going to be so much as, you know, a day there, a year there. With what's going on, I don't think that's going to be the case.
Maybe a couple of hours and a day in Remnant.
That's what I'm...
A year in Ever After is 1 day in Remnant.
I mean,
it's going to be the hyperbolic time chamber.
I mean, I think time would work that way.
Now, I'm guessing you include this because this bird was just funny.
Getting really pissed off, yes.
Yeah, this bird was really bad-mouthing Ruby at this point.
But I also included it because I realized later on, like in the intro, there's something I picked up. So this was another reason why. But as many times as you kept going past, this bird's just like, you know what, I'm done. I'm absolutely done. I'm done with you doing this to me. Goodbye.
Yeah, so we learned that there is some kind of thing with Ever After where it's causing Ruby to go in circles, which is expected in a world like this. That's like one of the cliche things to use is going in circles.
I saw a point to this picture as well. The Ruby Instagram actually posted a picture of this saying, or this moment of when you ignore the group chat. Like, when you have a big group chat and you're the one ignoring it and you've got someone still talking in the background and you're just ignoring it. I just wanted to point that out. I saw that a little while ago that the Ruby Twitter or the Ruby Instagram did that.
I think the Twitter did it
as well.
Yeah,
I had a feeling they posted it both places.
Probably the same person probably runs Instagram and Twitter and all that. So you jumped right to after Ruby has helped Little get the cheese, but now Ruby knows now that Little can talk, and this was her reaction. She also scared Little to death. I can already tell you, Little is going to be a fan favorite just from this one episode. They're a little bit of comic relief, but it also seems like they may also be a really big judge of character because, of what Little says to Yang later on. So maybe beings in this world have a better perception of people. I'm not sure, but yeah, this was nice. This was a little bit of comedy for what is more than likely, if the intro is anything to go on, is going to be a rough volume for Ruby.
Yeah. There's also, if you think about it, animals have a better perception of people versus us.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I think that's another thing they're tying in, that this world obviously maybe it's a step above like the normal world, that animals just know if they don't like, if someone's a good person or not.
Do you know if you got any screenshots of Little falling asleep several times?
I have some of her sleeping, and I have some where her bubble, the bubble coming out of their nose.
Because someone has already theorized that Little may be based off of the mouse that is in the Mad Hatter's teacup that seems like that drowsy and drunk and all that.
Always sleepy. Yeah. Yes, that I have a feeling that could be part of what they are.
What was the rabbit's name that's with the Mad Hatter again? Silence.
Do you know how long it's been?
Let's move on. So after the whole thing after the whole scene that we saw of Ruby and Little from RTX, we see that Weiss and Blake have found each other, and Blake has already found Gamble Shroud. So, and they're questioning that, what's going on here?
She has the sheath. She doesn't have Gamble.
Oh yeah, that's right. But it's almost like they knew where they were going, because it seems like they find Gamble really quickly. But Weiss mentions, that Ruby and Blake fell before Weiss, but Ruby wasn't with Blake, but yet Weiss found Blake first. So I don't know if it's like they're questioning, how is this?
I think it just wherever they landed. I mean, maybe that they were closer, because we don't know where they landed. They could have landed in different areas, and that's just who she ran into first. I got this because the vines started moving, and then she turned around and noticed, she heard something.
Having that cat-like ears.
Yeah, so she noticed something, so that's why I got that screenshot. She's looking at, did that just move?
Yeah. Now, I really like this part because it really shows how far Blake and Weiss's relationship has come, because in Volume 1, in the early days of Ruby, with Blake being a Faunus and Weiss being the heiress to the Schnee Dust Company, and how Weiss used to be, they had the rockiest relationship. I think the only one that really came closest would be Weiss and Ruby, but Weiss's and Ruby's wasn't really as deep-seated, and maybe, not saying that Blake ever actually fully hated Weiss, but maybe close to it, where with Weiss and Ruby it was more jealousy and like, you know,
Yeah,
and
whereas
Weiss thinking she was better than Ruby.
I mean, we did see the jump in the relationship, especially when she stood up to her father and Blake held her hand saying, no, family, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, because by then they had already...
Yes, so, but this is, like, seeing their relationship, how much more it's developed between the two of them, you know, since even then.
Well, you know, it even goes back to the scene in Volume 8 where Weiss was the only one left, and she's firing at Cinder with Gamble Shroud, and she's got tears in her eyes because she thinks Ruby, Blake, and Yang are gone, and she's the only one left. So it may also be her being thankful that since Blake is all right, that means Ruby and Yang is all right, and which Blake brings that up as well. But yes, this was a really good, nice little monochrome moment, if you want to say.
But this is also where she was asking, you know, what, like...
Oh, yes, Blake does ask Weiss what happened, but Weiss deflects it.
And she says that she wants to... Some of these other pictures go with this, too. She said that she wants to...
They need to find... Yeah.
She wants to have everybody together first.
Yeah,
you know.
so... But a thing we need to know is when we get to the actual part, Weiss still leaves one big detail out. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, and this was her reaction that she
can tell. She can tell something's happened. That something bad happened.
That's the plant that I noticed. I mean, but they've done that before with especially those colors. I just thought it was a funny little detail that was in her frame.
In our reaction, Jess mentions that it's the bi flag colors, and it's been a running gag in RWBY that the bi colors follow Blake around.
I just thought it was funny because it was in the frame. So I was thinking,
and you know, it's just funny that, you know, Aaron and Barbara did fully confirm that Blake is bisexual, so it's not as as it used to be.
But it's nice it's a nice little detail
They're
to just
still keeping
notice.
it going.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you were right. This is where Gamble Shroud ended up. These vines, for some reason, really want this weapon. One little detail.
We find out why this is this, though.
Yeah, but are you kind of thrown off that the ribbon is still intact when Cinder scorched it in half to make Ruby and Blake fall?
I mean, the ribbon was also, like, gets longer, so it's possible that, I mean, part of it could have been pulled out too far, like, when she held onto it. I don't know, but, I mean, it was long. So.
I also like how this kind of looks like the Sword in the Stone.
Yeah.
In a little bit. So, yeah, like, I've already forgotten what Weiss says, but Blake's like, no, I forgot. What does Weiss say here? She said something, and Blake just turns it down big time, like, nah, that's not a good idea.
I can't remember now.
Remember.
It's
so much has happened already.
I focused so much on getting as many screenshots that could of things that, you know, the next ones do go with this as well, of them trying to get to it. Like,
look at Blake's ears.
The little the sweat drops. Yeah, like,
this is cute.
Struggle drops.
Like, it seems the more Blake recovers, the cuter she gets, the more cuter she acts. Now, okay.
I had to get this, like, I didn't want to do too many of this, but I had to get the face, because she kept slicing away, and all of a sudden they grew back. She's just like, ah.
Weiss definitely, in some moments, acts like the typical rich girl who is on her first hike for the first time, and she is not having any fun whatsoever. But a lot of people have pointed that, you know, you're a trained huntress. Why are you so tired? And a few have pointed out, well, for one, her weapon is a stabbing weapon. It's not really a hacking stuff apart. Also, they've not slept since, like...
She's low on energy and her aura's probably low, so...
But does aura even work here?
That's what we don't know yet, but...
Do their semblances work?
I don't know, but as of the end of 8, their auras were pretty much tapped out, so we don't know what this world will affect. I mean, either way, they'd be low on energy regardless of the aura or not, so maybe it might not regenerate as fast. I don't know.
Yeah, because like, this is only the first chapter, so we still don't know fully how Ever After works. Blake, okay, so this
did get the other shots.
Okay, this is about what's coming up next is probably it's my second favorite moment of the entire chapter, because it just, for one, it's wholesome, it's precious, but it shows character growth in a lot of ways. So Blake is, once again, she's like trying to stay away from the vines, but also trying and reach Gamble. And she's like using the tree to like as leverage pretty much. And
And that I did make sure to catch her shoes there, so that way. But Weiss is like in cheerleader mode.
Okay, yeah, cheerleader Weiss. Like we literally had to pause this because
it threw us off. Like,
but this is so great. Like the Weiss of Volume 1 would never have acted like this.
That's another thing with Weiss is she's like her emotions have grown. Like. Yeah. Same thing with Blake, hers as well. So that's another reason why it's good seeing them together, because both of them from the beginning to
are
now,
completely different people.
Yes,
than what
their emotions are finally showing. They're getting to be, themselves. So yeah. It's like, it's another thing.
Of everyone who has ever written a RWBY High School alternate universe fic who had Weiss as a cheerleader.
Here you go.
Yeah, you finally got what you've always wanted. But yeah, this was cute. I love who Weiss has become, because she used to be one of my least favorite members of Team RWBY, but her evolution has just grown on me so much. I really do find her a very lovable character. So, of course, Blake and Weiss get trapped by the vines. It's a good thing the spikes are not wrapped around them. That would not have felt good.
But I like how Weiss points out about the talking mice, and Blake's like, that is not what I'm worried about right now.
Yeah.
That is not the concern right now.
we have a friend who who used to live around here but now lives in Florida. Apparently he did make a
joke in a text message.
Pretty much, I've seen enough
to know where this could go.
I was like, oh my gosh.
I actually, when I saw the text message, I completely lost it, and I started laughing. So, I mean, if he ends up watching this, he's going to know.
And it's sad, because now that'll probably be on DeviantArt. But
unfortunately.
But they're pretty much captured by Little's village, and I'm guessing, it's not really stated, but I'm guessing this is like the village elder, because it does look like a mouse who has seen some stuff in their time, and one of their eyes is blind. So yeah, I'm guessing this is like the leader or the elder.
Yeah, and the thing is like I said, when I said about when we saw Gamble all twisted up in the vines, that we realized once we get to this point, this was their trap. So they are able to work with these vines, since they're so much smaller, to create a trap for whatever prey that they're going after.
Yeah, which is very unique. So yeah, they're like celebrating their victory and all that. That's a lot of mice.
I thought this was the best one because of its paw up like that, like victory. Yes, so
it's like,
and Blake's just like, Blake and Weiss are both like, this can't be happening.
They look like they're about to be burned at the stake or something. Like, this does not look like a good situation. I believe this is what RWBY walks into, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So,
and she moved, like, the thing is she, like, nudged her shoulder to wake them up, and Little's just like, huh? Oh.
Because Little's asleep, and RWBY's like, are you drooling on me? Ugh. And then just stops in her tracks. And Little's like, what? Like, oh, that's not good. And so a lot of people thought during the trailers and all that this was RWBY reacting to being told about Penny. No, it's her reacting to Blake and Weiss being tied up by vines by a bunch of mice. Whoever thought that would be a thing that I would have to say?
I have a feeling that's going to be a huge thing. And then they go, is that your cat friend? And then freaks.
Yeah. Like, I forgot. Was Little telling them to stop, or?
No, that's when they asked RWBY, is that your cat friend, like you were talking about? And she told her yes, and she screamed. They screamed. It's late. Okay.
Yeah, you need to work on that. But doesn't RWBY reach up and grab Little back down? I think there's a gag in there somewhere that I can't remember.
Yeah, because she's holding Little now.
Yeah, and they're like, she's got our friend, and they...
Another prey. Like, that's pretty much what they're saying, and...
Yeah.
Had to change that, and then that's when Little goes into this whole story.
Yeah, Little's like, she pulled the cheese right out of the ground, and one of the mice even faints. Like,
I think it was
I think it's the white one.
Yeah.
But they're all mesmerized. Like, apparently, and you would think, mice, it's probably hard for them to get that cheese out of the ground. But yeah, they are like mesmerized by the story. It's really cute. It's really, really precious. All these mice are cute.
I like the ones that were sitting on the ground. They kind of like loafed.
Yeah, they're listening to us. So here we find out one of the biggest reasons why they did capture Weiss and Blake is because Blake has cat ears. They're like, we're really afraid of anything cat or snakes. Yeah, because they mentioned snakes as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people loved this. The rest of Team RWBY describing Yang. Now, of course, in a perfect world, because people have already made art of it, Blake had been like, long, blonde hair, gorgeous eyes, great body, and someone had RWBY mention Yang's, and Blake was like, oh yeah, that too. But, and Barbara even liked and retweeted it. So, Barbara loved it. But, no, they say, long blonde hair, looks kind of scary, but isn't. Then Weiss is like, but she could be, if she wanted to be. It kind of shows, once again, more of the closeness of Team RWBY. But yeah, we're still looking for Yang here. So, okay, what's happening
This
here?
is where RWBY had told them what they were doing.
Oh, yeah.
And she says,
she
I
wants
thought
to
about
get
going
to the cliff.
Yeah, going to the cliff because being higher ground.
Getting their bearings.
Yes, so that way they can pretty much take a step back and see what they need to do.
How could I forget that? Even in our reaction, I said that's a good plan. That's usually the first thing you need to do if you're lost or in a new area that you don't know, is find higher ground so you can see everything. Okay. So we got Little being scared at the thought of Blake the moment that RWBY said cat ears. And now here we have Blake running up Blake, ending up on her shoulder and scaring the crap out of her. A mouse scaring a cat faunus.
I mean, it's not expected, especially when Blake saw the reaction. But Little obviously has already become...
He's okay. Like, they're comfortable around them.
Yes, because what they've said, they've done, and because of RWBY. So they're all trustworthy in that they have that feeling that...
Little and RWBY have already, really bonded. It's... A lot of people may say it's too fast, but really, if you show an animal kindness... And, yes, Little is obviously a very more intelligent being because they can talk, they have critical thinking. A lot of people don't think animals have critical thinking. That's there, here or there. But animals, usually, if you show them kindness, they will love you unconditionally. The moment you rub a dog's belly, they're in love with you. So, yeah, RWBY gave Little the cheese. RWBY showed Little kindness. So, of course, Little already cares about them.
Both Blake and Weiss have not shown any hostility towards them either. So, but...
Blake is so cute right here.
Yes, that's why I got this one. But, yeah, but Little, this also feeds into the further things that are said here soon, is that they just know. Mm-hmm. Animals know. So Little is a good judge of character, and obviously RWBY trusts them. She can see that they're trustworthy too. So. And
Little tells them that they can help them get up to the cliff, and so Little offers to be their guide. And I was so happy, because back when we first did a video on Little, I said... I think Little's role in Volume 9 will be that of the animal guide. There's been several stories of having an animal guide a protagonist through whatever challenge they're going through, and that's what Little offers to be. And I was like, well, I got one right so far. I have got one theory right. Little is so cute. And Little already falls asleep. I'll be your guide. Falls right asleep. This is so precious. But yeah, there's not really much to say. RWBY smiles at them. So right here, the bugs are
the rocking horseflies.
Yeah, the bugs are already bothering Weiss, and that's why I said, yeah, this is typical rich girl who's never went on a hike. You take her on her first hike, and she is rich guy too. It would happen either way, but it's like, this is typical bugs, heat, being tired. Once again, we got a little bit of Ruby smiling at what Weiss is saying, so, we're taking those small moments of Ruby actually being happy because like I said, it seems like this is going to be a rough one for her.
The intro says that too. We'll
Yeah.
go over that when we get to it.
But yeah, Weiss taking the lead here, leading the way. So that's very interesting. Like once again, right here. Now
This when they hear that noise.
Yes, and yeah, it's a very terrifying scene. As you can tell by Blake's airplane ears, they stumble upon this thing, which we now know is called the Jabberwock, I believe, which is a term on the Jabberwocky, which is a creature from the Looking Glass and all that, from Alice in Wonderland. There's actually a song that I myself have sung in choir before. It's got some of the weirdest lyrics ever. Callooh, Calais, oh frabjous day, and the Vorpal blade went snicker snack and all that. Yeah, that's the lyrics. It's an upbeat song,
I've
though. It's
seen
catchy.
the song. I was in choir too, so we didn't really sing it for anything, but
it doesn't really look like the Jabberwocky I know of. It looks like an Egyptian monster almost.
the talking thing I've seen some things compare it to like the Predator.
Well, yeah, that
Because I think that might be based off
like,
of kind of the Jabberwocky too.
And it seems like some have said maybe it's blind because it didn't really notice them until I believe either like they started making noise, and like it twitches and it says stuff like it's like searching, looking.
Yeah, that's why I said that
like
kind of reminds me of like, especially like the jokes they make in like Family Guy and other things. Even like actual stuff, it reminded me some similar of something like Predator because of how it was talking, like the way it was talking.
But yeah, it twitches like the Hound almost does, and Little sees it and freaks out
and backs into Ruby's hood. So
I think Little knows what this thing is. But, I mean, that's
either knows what it is
or has heard of it.
Knows that it's dangerous.
Yeah. So yeah, scared Little is not good.
This was when Ruby went to reach for Crescent Rose, and she doesn't have it.
It's kind of a sad moment too, because Blake and Weiss draw their weapons and they're walking cautiously. Ruby reaches for Crescent Rose. Crescent Rose isn't there, and she looks so sad, so lost that she can't help, and that's looks to be a running that might be a running theme in this volume of Ruby feeling lost. They said all the way back in volume 1. Did I say wood? 1. Ruby said a weapon is an extension of yourself. Ruby has lost a part of herself.
I'm gonna touch more on this with the weapon situation later, because I noticed some things in the intro which makes me believe this isn't gonna be some easy find and fix.
And also, we all know how important Crescent Rose is to Ruby. So yeah, this was kind of sad. It was a little heartbreaking moment. So this thing, attacks. It charges for them. Blake is the one that holds it off. This thing looks like it could tear you to limbs if it really wanted to. And then
you hear, "I wasn't done with you yet."
Which, I'm sorry, Yang is such a badass. If this thing was running from her, and the fact that she does not have her prosthetic, and she was able to lob a rock this big at it, and is like, "Hey, get back here.
I wasn't done with you."
Yang is such a badass, like seriously. And this is just, them reacting to possibly hearing Yang's voice, but also the huge rock hitting it right in the head. And there's Yang. No.
Well, it just also plays with, how Weiss was exhausted. Yang, we saw her aura was broke. So she's still exhausted because we don't know what she's exactly completely been through yet. I mean...
Yeah. And no prosthetic. Yes, she is very tired. She's breathing heavy, but tired or not, she is still chasing this thing down. We do not know what happened between Yang and this monster for her to be chasing after it. So someone pointed out very interesting that in this shot of Yang, Weiss, and Blake cornering this thing, there is still a good amount of space left here that would have been for Ruby. I don't know if that's really anything or, but it seems like a lot of people pointed out, it seems like once Yang joined the fray, the thing noped it out of there. But it also could be it's outnumbered. It knows it probably does not have a really good chance, because it really does seem like this could be a creature that would maybe be better off surprising its prey instead of taking it head on like this. I don't know.
When we get to later slides, it makes sense for that space to be there because Ruby is over here.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, a lot of people were like, oh, once Yang showed up, it ran. But it might be just because it was outnumbered. Okay.
There's a couple moments of this one.
Okay, so Ruby, of course, runs over to Yang, and Yang says, damn it. Yay, Yang cursed again. You're not supposed to be here. And people have zoomed in on Yang's face at that point, and she was forming tears in her eyes. And many have theorized that Yang is heartbroken that Ruby is there, because that means she failed to save Ruby, which is how she got there in the first place. That tells, Yang right away that something bad happened if all of them are there. Now, this is probably one of the most touching moments between Ruby and Yang. All these people who claim that Yang and Ruby do not care about each other, I'm starting to think it's just people who don't have siblings or have a very weird way of thinking how siblings are supposed to be.
Oh, I've seen some other things I don't know if I'll mention, but this moment was like, it was definitely needed, but her saying, if you thought we weren't coming, then you must have forgotten who raised me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a very, very touching moment that they needed.
Another drawback that, yes, after Summer disappeared and Tai shut down, Yang raised Ruby. Like, Yang literally put her childhood on hold and raised her little sister. But it raises the question, Ruby, Blake, and Weiss fell involuntarily, but yet Ruby says, if you think we wouldn't come for you. So that tells me that even if they had been able to defeat or run Neo and send her off, they were going to jump in to go find her. That's what that tells me. So Ruby asks Yang, what happened to your arm? Now, we know from the trailer what happened, but Yang says, you wouldn't...
I don't think you'd believe me if I told you.
And then Little pops up and goes, why not? You seem trustworthy. It's really cute. And
Ruby, what is...
And then I screamed.
Yes.
If you watch our reaction, please, if you've got headphones on, watch your ears when this part happens. So we hear it coming before we see it. You can hear Blake's footsteps. And Little looks over and then
just
dips away.
Goes.
Blake full on pounces on Yang. It's a definite cat thing, because cats will pounce on you no matter, like, sometimes, but also with how Blake used to be, this is not Blake-like. She never used to be this affectionate. So it goes more not only with her and Yang's romance, but how much she has changed.
It's meaningful, and it's also slightly funny, because if anyone has ever come across, I know that they have, that's come across a specific GIF that's shared a lot as a meme, where you'll see two people run up that they've missed each other, then you'll see another person fly over and just completely...
It's from an anime, I believe.
Yes, it is. And that's what made me think of that, because the noise that she made when she hit her and knocked her down.
Now, at first, Yang is like, huh? And then you hear Blake say, and props to Aaron for delivering this the way it is, but you hear Blake in they even had it sound muffled, like her mouth is up against Yang, and she just says Yang's name. And you can tell it's kind of like the Kairi and Sora moment from Kingdom Hearts 2, where Kairi hugged Sora and said, "This is real." It's like she's
That's
saying,
the same that same meaning and energy. That's exactly what that is.
yeah,
So
like Blake's like, she's here, she's really here, she's not gone. And of course, Yang gets that soft smile on her face, which seems to only happen when Blake is involved.
and then her hand that's there on her head now too.
Yeah.
I've
And I'm going
noticed.
to tell you right now, this is not a hug. This is cuddling. This is not a freaking hug. I'm sorry. I've seen so many people call it a hug. It is not a hug.
I've
This
had
is
some
cuddling.
people say this ruined the sister moment too, but enough of that. Anyway,
Of course, if Blake wasn't involved, that wouldn't have been
but
said.
it also, the next picture also goes with this as well because it shows everybody. But the thing is Yang stays where she is, but looks at Weiss when she's talking. So,
But we've got to discuss the elephant in the room real quick. Why did they not kiss? Because we've theorized for almost 2 years now that the reunion made sense to be when they kissed. Well, there's a reason why I think they didn't kiss. One, I think it is later in this volume. I think it will happen this volume. But there is a particular reason why it didn't happen here. I'll go ahead and touch one. It's that the situation they're in. They really need to touch base with each other. Now, I did notice right here that when Yang looks at Weiss, she runs her hand
yeah,
down
she
Blake's
moves her
head.
hand down her head a little bit, but she
But look
doesn't
at
move.
that.
She doesn't move. She just looks over at Weiss, and I mean, but here's the thing. It's when this scene plays out more, it makes sense, but it just wasn't the right time. And as the scene goes on,
We find out why.
you find out why this just wasn't the time. And then, but this is hugely impactful.
Plus Ruby and Weiss are watching.
Yeah,
But
so that's another thing is I don't think it's gonna happen with everybody around.
I think it's just funny that Ruby and Weiss are so used to this, they don't really react to Blake tackling her. But yeah, and the music they played here was really, really sweet. But yeah, Weiss is like, I thought you'd be more happy to see us. And she says she is, but I forgot. Like, she pretty much asks what happened.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was here or later that she said that she thought she was dead.
That's later.
But it's the same thing. But yeah, and then this is why that moment.
This is why Blake and Yang did not kiss here. Weiss literally breaks. Let's see, how much did you? Okay, Weiss literally breaks down and starts telling them what happened. Here's the thing, though. She says Jean tried to help, and then just jumps to Penny sacrificed herself. She leaves out that it was John that did it, and as a result, Ruby passes out. Like, okay, and like.
That was my moment of being correct. It had
Yeah.
to do, she passed out having to do with Penny.
Yeah.
So.
And it's, listening to Friend was one of the hardest reactions we've both ever had to do on this channel because it was so heartbreaking. And one of the heartbreaking things was that Ruby didn't know yet. And, yeah, a lot of Ruby and Penny's friendship was... A lot of it had a lot of gags because of Penny's strength and all that. But Ruby was Penny's real first friend. And, Ruby's the one who said, you have a soul. Do you think just because you have nuts and bolts instead of gushy guts and all that you're any less... Like, Ruby was a pivotal driving force for Penny's story. And, I don't blame her for passing out really, because Ruby is already has probably got enough stress to kill a lot of people, because everyone says stress is the number one killer. But yes, this is why Bumblebee did not kiss. For one, that moment needs to be focused only on Blake and Yang. They deserve that much. They need to be the core focus of that scene. We don't need Blake and Yang kissing after years of wanting it, and then right away, oh, Penny's dead. You
can also go back to why the kiss would need to be when they're by themselves or something, are more isolated, because think back to the fight with Adam. That was a huge moment between the turn where we saw more of the, their relationship connecting.
Mm-hmm.
If everyone else was around, it wouldn't have been as impactful. Yeah, Adam was there, but that was a moment after he was gone, that head touch, that was just them.
Well, look at the other kisses in RWBY. When Jean and Pyrrha kissed in Volume 3, nothing really happened right away after that
and
scene
they were
to
isolated.
overshadow it.
They were isolated to themselves.
Now, Ren and Nora were not technically isolated, but the entire scene was dedicated to them.
And there was nothing behind that.
Well, I mean, there was the murder, but it didn't happen right away.
No. There was some time between that, but they had their moment, and it didn't just suddenly jump to, oh, this huge thing just happened.
Yeah.
No, it was dedicated to them. So
I already said in the reaction, going from their reunion right to Penny was already a little much. But yeah, that's why there was no kiss here. I do think it will be this volume. I'm hoping they're not tricking us and it's the bridge moment, but we'll see. Okay, so a lot of people have talked about this. A lot of people don't like that they just left RWBY laying there. Apparently, this is a very common recovery position for people who are unconscious.
Yes, I can actually confirm that. With the years of lifeguard training that I've had, this is a recovery. If someone has something, passes out, certain seizures, this is how you turn somebody. Like, it's one of the best places for them. But clearly, I think they did move her into the trees, because this isn't where they were. Plus
Yang is sitting right there with her.
Yeah, this is more, there's more grass, there's more trees, so I think they moved her into that area where that thing ran off, because they weren't exactly near the cliff at first. So
they're talking about, what to do and all that, and I think it's Weiss that says she just has a really bad feeling about all this. And of course, Little is there fanning RWBY.
Yeah, fanning.
It's so cute.
With a leaf, and it's just the cutest thing.
And when RWBY wakes up, she informs them that Neo is there. And of course, did you get that? Or, okay. I forgot what does Yang say here.
First thing she asks is if she's okay.
Okay, yeah.
So
right.
her first priority is making sure her sister's okay. Yeah. So that we have another moment. So,
and then this scene is pretty much Blake saying, "Okay, we need to."
Yeah, I didn't get all of it because this was the impactful moment. It was this. I couldn't get a good moment of her pacing, but we need to go through.
We need to find Crescent Rose. We need to find Yang's arm. We need
to figure out
how to get out of here.
Yeah, where we are, what we need to do, and how to get out. So, and then the light comes, because it was raining.
Yeah.
The light comes at her, and then she notices it. So this is what leads more to it.
Yeah. And
I know this leads to the last part of at least this. And sorry, I need to move my leg. Because she was talking to RWBY, but then Yang looked up because Blake was talking. She followed looking at her. So actually, the next one goes to this, because you could see Yang looking at her as she's still talking. Which I know when we first saw this picture,
we were wondering.
Everyone was wondering how blurry, because you can't see, because
we were wondering if she was talking to RWBY or if she was watching Blake.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. She's watching her because Blake was explaining. I know this may sound, out there, but I think we're in a fairy tale, and that's exactly what we've seen all this. So.
And I believe that's where the episode ends, right?
Yes, and the rest of this goes into
the intro.
Yes, which there's a lot of screenshots for that.
Which our reaction to the intro was already up. So yeah, as far as first chapters go, a lot happened. A lot of people were shocked that Team RWBY already got together in the first episode, but this seems like a volume where a lot is going to happen. So yeah, you don't want to waste several episodes
them trying to find each other.
Plus, we've already had almost 2 full volumes of them being separated.
Yes, and I made that point. I don't know if it was on camera or not. It may have not. It may have been just us talking. That we've already seen them apart. It's not the time for them to be apart for forever and ever again, because we've already had that. And we had the team. At least a small separation. and 8. So it would make sense for them to start,
This is the journey they
together.
need to go on together.
Yes, they may here and there may separate a little bit, but they're not gonna just completely split into 4.
Yeah. So now we get the intro, and there is a lot, but we'll try and go through it as fast as we can. So the first thing we get is Jean and Neo together, which we have no idea where Neo is, and Jean has barely been seen at all. Now, of course, with Jean, we've got his broken sword with Penny's blood on it, and tears running down his face, and Neo looking bummed, I guess, or...
She's like, I don't know. For me, if you look at that, she's unsure. Like, because one, she was just everything she did, it didn't make a difference, and Cinder just turned on her.
Yeah.
And so we don't know the role, but we obviously know her falling is, this intro shows she's got a big impact in this.
Yeah. And then of course we get Weiss, Blake, and Yang. This is actually a pretty cool shot. I actually like this shot a good bit. Not really much to say. Like, out of all 4 of them, these 3 I think are in the best states right now, so it shows them ready to fight and all that. Ruby by herself, which of course red is of course Ruby's color, but the way they've got it here, it looks very dark and foreboding. Her eyes are closed. She looks troubled. This is going to be a very bad volume for Ruby, I think. Now, I think it'll get maybe better by the end.
Yeah, but at least through the way, it's going to, which a lot of this is going to...
It's an odyssey.
And a lot of this makes sense, with, like, the more we see, like, later on in these, the intro, it fits with the trailer of her, that falling into that dark place. And I really, really do believe that's going to be her inner mind, because of how it is. Which a lot of this makes sense that she'd go there, like her falling behind and things you're going to see here. It's just, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I caught this just because I didn't know if it had an impact or anything, but maybe
it was cool looking.
It was cool, and I thought maybe it represented them, that they had fallen into this world. I mean...
Yeah. Of course, we get the logo.
And I noticed that up there.
Yeah, I don't know if that's to represent just them falling, or if it represents the girl who is a big question mark right now.
I don't know that. My other thought is because I've noticed in the pictures and then the trailer, things that we saw, the glowing blue that we've come to know for anything with the relics and the
maybe
or it's somebody like Ambrosia or Jin. Their color are that bright glowing blue, which are those same color tones.
Or it's somebody pulling for a character in Genshin Impact.
I mean, it could be that too.
Now this was cool. We kind of get
these were super hard to get.
We're kind of getting like a through the years like evolution of the characters here. It starts off with Weiss in her Beacon outfit, then the Mistral outfit, and then of course with the current Atlas outfit, and all her Blake and Yang are all like smiling or smirking.
And I got every one of them. These ones are a little bit harder to catch because I wanted
the smirk on Blake's face.
I know. I wanted to catch all 3 of them, but it was kind of hard. Now, this also mirrors... It's funny that I loved this when we first saw it because it reminded me... I have art that I did. Forever ago. It's on our Redbubble now, but it was pretty much silhouette evolutions of each of the girls. And so that's why I loved seeing this in there, because I thought, okay, awesome. My art mirrors this. This is so cool. Like, I wanted to see art like this, so it was kind of cool to see this animated with all 3.
Yeah. Then we got Yang, Beacon, Mistral, Atlas. Yang's got her typical smirk right there. So it's pretty much saying, these 3 are in a better state than they have been in the past. Whereas Ruby, not so much.
And I noticed when it got to Ruby, it started raining. Yeah. So I think, every time when she gets upset, we've noticed now so far, it starts to rain. But all the other 3 have gone through something already for themselves to grow. Ruby needs to now.
Ruby has went through plenty. It's just she's not.
No, but she needs. Because of how far down she started doubting herself the further she went through from 7 and 8, she needs her next moment, like how Ren had his.
Well, I definitely think this will
She
probably be
yes,
it.
I believe this is where she's going to get that. She needs to refine the new strength, which again touches that moment in the trailer. I think that's what's going to be for her to connect to herself again.
Then there's this character. There's several theories going on about this character. We'll touch a little bit on it later, but this character is in this intro a lot. Once again, we've got Ruby in this all red, dark like imagery with a tear coming down her
and
face.
It's raining.
Yeah.
And her tear drops and it transforms into Crescent Rose.
Yeah.
Which I think I have another one of it too. Yes. It turns into Crescent Rose, but then the next photo also goes to. This is where I mentioned the birds. I don't know if this has a meaning, but I did it anyways because, like, I don't know. It just, for me, it's just a small theory that I have that they have something to do with it being hidden. I mean, birds take shiny things, so do other animals. But when Ruby kept going by, disturbing the one, and then all of a sudden this has something to do with Crescent Rose, I don't know. It may not be anything, but it is a small theory that I thought to play on. Because, I mean, it'd be interesting, because that's this and Crescent Rose, and then they disappear. I don't know. It could be just a transition for all I know. But it was something to note.
We get the mice. We get
three of them, all, lifting it, and then Little.
Little gets their own little moment. Nothing better happened to this mouse. I'm serious. Like, I will be upset. There will be a rant.
They must be protected at
there
all
will
costs.
there will be a rant video if something bad happens to Little. I'll just say that right now. Okay, you brought up this hammer.
I don't know if it has to do anything. I don't know if it's just a symbol in this world or what. I don't know, because I've never
Thor's hammer.
seen it. But I just thought, like, because the way I caught it, and I didn't notice it the first time, because this moment literally happened so fast that it took a couple tries to get it. But this hammer, I mean, like I said, I just noticed the symbol. Don't know if it has an impact or it means anything. It might just be something in the one town that looks like toys.
Well, I think it's definitely connected to that one character we've seen that kind of looks like a smith. Like I think it's female. I'm not sure. Remember, we've just seen the outline.
Yeah, it's possible that could be the symbol. Because this leads into, because there's somebody in the background.
Oh yeah, that character. That's the one I was talking about.
So I'm guessing that's probably their symbol. I don't know.
Then, of course, we've got the raccoon that is the one that steals Yang's arm. I'm guessing that'll be episode 2.
Probably.
More than likely, so we'll see more of that next week.
We have the whole thing with Weiss, they're talking on the cliff and pretty much adding all these things together, and her whole logic just...
Yeah. Now, the character in the background, a lot of people thought maybe that was supposed to be like the Queen of Hearts or whatever, because everyone's already theorizing that it's a villain. I think this is definitely
supposed to be the Queen of Hearts, because if you look at the screenshots that we've seen before all this, and then the trailer, the small person that's sitting on the opposite side, it fits the same shape.
They have a crown. They've got these soldiers that, like, this is not the ones we saw in the trailer, but the ones in the trailer kind of look like the card soldiers.
Those look like a chess, like some type of different chessboard.
And then, of course, we've got the eyes of the Cheshire Cat.
Now this, I had to get this because this also feeds into one of the theories that I have.
It looks like Neo's semblance.
It does. It looks like Neo's semblance, because the first thing that falls is Crescent Rose. And then from that comes up, and that's what forms into the girls. And then you have this mysterious girl again.
That's walking in front of.
Yeah, so obviously this is showing more and more Neo has a huge role in this.
And I told AG Nonsuch that finally that their artwork of Team RWBY doing the Abbey Road walk has become...
Yes, and this is also where we start to see the difference with RWBY.
Yeah.
Which I think plays into what I was saying with my theories.
Yeah, in each one she starts...
getting slower and the others are moving faster.
Yeah. Many have theorized, that Blake's the one walking in front, like maybe Blake takes the lead in this volume. We don't know that. Also, the Cheshire Cat better leave Little alone. Like,
it was going, hopping after it, but I mean...
Stay away from the mouse. Then once again, this looks like the Queen of Hearts maze or whatever that is in Wonderland. That they're not cards, but they definitely look like they're supposed to be like the card soldiers.
We can definitely tell that whoever this girl is fits a kind of role of like Alice because of how
she does look very Alice.
Yes.
But we're gonna when we get to like the toward the end, we'll talk a little bit more about who we think this is. Then, of course, in the elimination...
this forest-like thing. And
Ruby
she's slowly getting just slower.
She's not even running, I don't think, at this point.
No.
We've got the caterpillar that smokes the hookah. That's definitely Alice in Wonderland. Now we've got Sean here with
I was going to do the picture of him then, but I wanted to get this because the clock. I don't know if the clock has some type of impact.
I mean, it obviously does. They wouldn't put it in if it
but
didn't.
You got to think also that also fits Alice in Wonderland. So... Yeah. There's obviously, for a reason, we don't know his thing, but obviously he had to have fallen for a reason. Now,
this looks like one of those annoying dungeons at the end of a Japanese RPG.
Now, I do want to point out another thing. Definitely another Alice in Wonderland. Now, I can't remember the name of it. If I do, maybe I'll add in what it is somewhere. But when I was younger, it was an Alice in Wonderland thing, but it was a live-action, like, show, episode thing, where Alice fell through and just kept coming to the world, but when she was falling, you'd see all these doors in a cloudy-like space. This reminds me of that, because it definitely fits. It's a different type of Alice in Wonderland type thing.
Yeah, but like it just shows all of them, like Yang's running up that one thing like a hamster, and Blake is standing here, Weiss is upside down. And she goes the other
way, yeah, Weiss goes this way, and then there's Ruby.
There is literally a dungeon like this in one of the Tales games, I believe, and it was one of the most annoying dungeons ever. Okay, so we get Ruby in the cloud area. We've seen this cloud area before. We do not know yet what is up with this cloud area, why you end up there. We already know for a fact that Blake and Yang end up here, which is... where we're kind of hoping the kiss happens, but...
This was my theory on these bridges in the cloud area is the gap in between those land masses. Like how you... Like a one way to get from one to the other. That was my theory on this. This could be two bridges that connect across from a platform. But we don't know. But that's definitely my theory, and you can see that there's someone at the other end.
Yeah. Which, there's got to be some kind of symbolism here, because we're theorizing that Yang sees Blake. Now, is it actually Blake standing there, or is it just an illusion? We don't know. But yeah, it's the mystery girl that is standing at the other end.
But then...
Yeah, Ruby turns and has this really creepy smile on her face. We don't know if this is actually Ruby just losing it, or if it could be Neo.
This is where my Neo theory really starts to kick in for this.
Because because it goes right into Neo.
Yeah.
Who's drinking rainbow. Taste the rainbow. But this seemed to me, alright, very Mad Hatter-like. These shadow people, could this be, like, someone's already saying the one back here with their hands on their hips is Pyrrha. I've seen...
The one over here in the corner, the way he's standing, kind of reminds me of Osmond.
Yeah. Some people believe the woman and the man, like, right here on each side of her is her parents, where the one in the middle could be Roman. So, yeah, there's already some theories. It's hard to tell because
you can't see... I've tried brightening and, changing the settings and stuff like that. It's so blurred out that you can't see a head shape on most of these people, so you can't really pinpoint exactly.
But here's the thing. Neo looks very comfortable in this world, and according to this intro. With how her semblance works, if semblances can work here, I wouldn't be surprised now if Neo stays there and, like, uses it as her own personal playground where she runs the place.
We definitely know there's a huge... Obviously, she's got, again, like I've said, a huge role in this.
Yeah.
I tried to catch this because we keep seeing a book, which will refer back to
looks very
fairy
Alice,
tales.
Yeah, looks very fairy tale-like.
That's definitely... The picture I caught in this one is definitely an Alice-like figure.
Well, that's the girl. That's the girl that we've seen throughout the whole entire thing. We see... it's pretty much the Jabberwocky pop back up. We see the book catch on fire. Don't know if that's really of any significance yet. Then we see this armored knight again, who definitely looks like they are wearing Jean's outfit. I think this is Jean. I really do think so. I don't know what's happened to him, if he's under some kind of spell, but I do think this is Jean. Then we see Team now here. Ruby is with the others now. She's running with the others.
Like, she's not in the state that she was before.
So this could be a sign that by the end, she's
found herself again.
Yeah. Then of course everybody loves how Blake is posed. Like, everybody's like, she's so extra. And these leaves are a definite theme going throughout the whole entire thing.
I love the colors in this. Like, they're so. We've already seen so many colors, and I'm loving it. So
yeah. Some have pointed out that Ruby looks more scared than the others. Maybe there's still something bothering her, but they do fall, which is not good. Okay, so
I wanted to capture all of this.
This happened way too quick that we could really end the reaction. Okay, for one, there is a part in the trailer of this knight riding in on this deer bunny, and their boots match Jean's. I think this is Jean. I really do. I don't know if it's based off any kind of fairy tale
I'm
general,
not sure, but here's the other thing I thought.
Look, like, that looks exactly like his gauntlets, his gloves.
Yeah, but here's the other thing I was thinking, because everyone's like, okay, well, this with the fire behind it kind of makes it look evil-like.
I don't think he's evil.
No, but trailer magic. But if you think about it, the fire burning behind, the little clip we saw of that Smith, fire was behind, like, huge flames behind that.
Or whoever they are, they might have made the armor. But this picture does not scream villain. It screams legendary knight hero to me. That's the Queen of Hearts. That is definitely the Queen of Hearts. This is very the Queen of Hearts castle.
That's
the soldiers.
That's the round walkway, turning walkway we saw, and then there's the cat.
We got Little. That is definitely the Queen of Hearts. We got Little again. We got the caterpillar down here, and then we have got this girl again, but there's a figure behind her that's wearing glasses that's shadowed out. So,
but the hair shape fits kind of similar to one of the shadows sitting behind Neo.
Yeah. But notice the girl's eyes. That's the Smith, I think. That looks like the person.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's the rest of the caterpillar there.
The fire, that's the Smith. That's definitely the Smith. The Jabberwocky.
But then this down here falls back into what looks like Neo's shatter semblance. Mm-hmm. Like the shattering of her semblance.
And then we literally get artwork of Neo that changes into this girl. Now, of course, I know in our reaction we said, oh my gosh, is this Neo's original form? I do not think this is Trivia Vanille. That was her name, right? Trivia Vanille?
Yeah.
Because, for one, we already know from the book that her skin is light, and she already had the two different eye colors. This character does not have two different colors. A lot are theorizing this is the girl from the fairy tale, the girl who
fell through the world.
Yes. Many think that's who this is, and that she represents Alice from Alice in Wonderland. That's probably who this is going to be. This is Ruby's version of Alice.
But the only thing is why, like, this, the coincidence though, I got that for a reason. But for this specifically, how it went from Neo to her, I don't know. There's still a connection to me. Like, I know it's not. I don't think it's.
I think it's a. What do they call it?
Trailer magic.
No, not trailer magic. It's to fool you.
I know, but like just the way certain things are, I don't know. I think there is some connection, even if this isn't Neo. There's a connection somehow, somewhere, to this. I don't know. That's just the feeling that I have.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate and just say that this is Ruby's version of Alice, because she looks, the way she's dressed.
But the way she showed up is like she fell through like everybody else. Yeah, so
the girl who fell.
That wasn't the point, but
I mean, I think you're thinking a little too much into it.
Well, there's more reason. Go to the next one, because after she gets up, Crescent Rose appears.
Why does Crescent Rose look flat?
It's just how I caught it in the moment. So, because it like washed up
there
after she was there.
Is there any more after
Yes.
this? Okay, let's.
Because there's Crescent Rose, there goes the girl. And I think I got one more. The tree. That's points. Everything points back to that. So, I mean, which
With
we've
the
learned.
two sons and all that.
Which I think that's it.
All right. And that was our analysis of RWBY Volume 9, Chapter 1. Sorry, this was meant to go up on Monday, but this one got sick again, and I was just too tired to come home and record last night. So it's going up on Tuesday.
And we had a lot to go through, especially since this is going to be longer than normal because, of course, we analyzed the intro as well.
I don't think it'll be as long as some of our past announcements. We're kind of short on time, so we tried to speed it up as much as we could.
But this one, compared to others going forward, won't have the intro analysis in it, too. So there won't be as many.
So, yeah, I think a very strong start for RWBY. Then again, it has been about 2 years since the end of Volume 8, so everybody was really excited. Our reaction to Chapter 1 will be up on Saturday, just like normal. It'll go up the day that Chapter 2 goes up. I'm going to try. I can't promise anything because it depends on how work goes. I do work 4 days in a row, so it might be a little tricky. But going to try and get a What If Yang Was a Saiyan episode up this week. We've also got to go through the rest of our Team Juniper character development videos. And this volume is definitely going to give us a lot of content for bringing back RWBY fairy tale theories. Because there's a lot of fairy tale in this. But as always, guys, this is Cannan.
This is Jessie.
We love you all very, very much. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click that like button. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there. And we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.